Our birthright is a debt that is owed, connected with building arguably the wealthiest and most powerful nation in the entire world. This birthright is connected with our access to American citizenship and closing the separation of beneficiary Americanization between blacks and whites in America. The separation of beneficiary Americanization is a legacy passed down to two groups of people. This legacy has two sides. On one side is the inheritance of liberty, wealth, and power that gets translated in every area of American structure. And the other side is inheritance of exploitation, poverty, and denigration set in place in the structural foundation of society, delegating a permanent underclass for their heirs. Closing this gap is white America's biggest fear, but closing this gap is black America's birthright. This birthright will allow us as a people to reach an elite position in American society that was stripped from us due to white terroristic resistance and will strip away the so-called privilege that white Americans possess. This birthright is an inheritance connected with an American lineage that only a distinct group can claim. So racist white America must do whatever it can to co-opt, interfere, and simply tell us what we desire to hear, without ever giving us true access to our inheritance, because it is against racist white America's best interest to do so. Because whiteness is an equity, and our birthright will put a screeching halt to any equity based upon solely being white. And reparations is interchangeable for that birthright. Reparations derives from the root word repair. The word repair is an action verb, which means to fix or to mend the damage, and it draws a parallel position to the damage of a demographic of American people. It was only a few years ago when I decided to run for office myself as a grassroots hip-hop organizer, throwing the majority of my income into this delusional vision that I had. My vision was simple: transform any platform that I had as a grassroots hip-hop organizer into a platform for a presidential candidacy, because I saw the empty vacuum of black agenda candidates, especially on the presidential level. So I pledged that if I ran, then I would only represent for a demographic being neglected out of the political space as the only black agenda priority candidate. So I kept the ideas of reparations at the center of my platform, and the brutal disregard for my campaign as the only candidate who kept reparations at the center of my agenda made me work harder and drive it harder, because I represented blacks who descended from American slaves. And what I was experiencing is exactly what many blacks who descended from American slaves experience on a daily basis. Our ideas are disregarded, our visions are disrespected, and our fortitude is dismissed. We are at the bottom of society because we were placed there, chosen to become a permanent underclass, only used for consumption, kneeling at the mercy of survival, but never empowered enough to stand, which can only garner exploitation from more dominant groups, and every effort that we attempt in order to rise out of it is met with major white supremacist resistance. Because in a capitalistic society, somebody have to play the bottom. And in a capitalist society built on white supremacy, black people have to stay at the bottom, because any nation that has competitive black people will only nullify anything connected with white privilege. Black empowerment obliterates white supremacy. This is presidential candidate Deon D. Jenkins, the only reparations presidential candidate, the only legitimate reparations presidential candidate, the only black agenda priority candidate. Let's tell the Democratic Party that we mean business. Do not vote for Joe Biden. Write in Deon D. Jenkins, I am a presidential candidate, and I approve this message. Like the video. Like the video. Liking the video is free. Let's make this message go viral. You show your support by liking, sharing, and doing whatever you can do to make sure that this message get out. Thanks for listening.